The All Progressives Congress, that's the APC, is putting its house in order ahead of the 2023 elections. In its first step to achieving this, the party has confirmed February for the party's national convention. APC governors say the February date is sacrosanct for the party's long-awaited national convention, and the party is expected to announce its convention program today. Joining me to discuss this is political analyst, Comrade Ayodele Adewale. I also have the National Coordinator, Northern Youth Professionals for Tinubu, Abdullahi Tanku Yakasai. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Now, like we pointed out, it is said that the party seems to be putting its house in order by announcing that its convention will hold in February. Now that it has announced that, what next?
Well, the next thing to do is for everybody to get onto the convention ground and elect aspirants of their choice, and making sure that we put square peg in square holes and give leadership to not only the APC members, but of course Nigerians as a whole.
Nigerians as a whole. But that decision did not seem to sit well with the DG of the Progressives governors, so to speak, because it was said that he, resigned his position after that decision was made. He had raised some concerns for which I'd like for us to also look into. He talked about the fact that no specific date was given at the time, and that being that February is just 2 weeks to February, the plans towards this convention, how realistic? It's not making the party look serious, so to speak.
Well, thank you so much, Veronica. You see, the Buni-led Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, that's the CECPC of our party,
right,
has been there for, so to say, 19 months. And since they have given us February as the date for this convention to hold, I think we should be looking at that, because they've been there and they are capable leaders of our party. So I believe they have had a lot of programs prior to this time on how to go about holding this convention. And I would like to say that the February timing is actually the best, because there are going to be by-elections at the end of February in about at least 6 states.
Right.
So if the party can quickly come up with the program, like they said they will do today, so that we can hold this convention before this by-elections. So this is my take on this.
Right. Let's get your perspective to the concerns raised by the former DG of the Progressive Governors Forum, what he raised in terms of concerns with regards to the convention, and then he resigning. Some will say this perhaps could cause some split within the forum, and what the outcome of the convention might be at the end of the day.
I don't see it causing a split. Members of the party are bigger than that forum, looking at it in numerical strength. And aside from that, the Extraordinary Committee have had its tenure prolonged for about 2 times, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
And they've also planned the convention prior to now. I think this is the 2nd time that it was also prolonged.
Right.
So it provides that the committee should have known, using a good roadmap, when the convention will take place, budgeting for it, and of course planning for it adequately. It's out of place for a party like PDP, which is the opposition party, to lead in this race of the convention. The APC is the ruling party. The APC has no reason to allow an opposing party to determine the course of movement. You understand? And INEC have also brought out its own calendar, mind you. And if we delay too much, we might have ourselves, skewed within the INEC calendar, which might again be more disastrous for the party. So it's better we go now. Peradventure, there are fallouts from that convention that need to be addressed. Then we have adequate time to also address those fallouts. So this is the best time to go.
Right. Talking about fallouts, we have seen the internal wranglings within the party. And a lot of persons have come out to say that there must be internal democracy. And there must be the mechanisms put in place to addressing the issues must be allowed to function as it should, especially leading up to these conventions. And I want to get your perception of these reactions of persons to this.
Okay, you see, in our party we have the Reconciliation Committee led by distinguished Senator Abdullah Adamu. And even last week he was here in the Southwest and he was in Kano. Everywhere we have contestations, they go there to try and see how they can, subpedal any crisis that is there. So we have no option in our party than to manage the crisis, because
why has it been so difficult to manage over time? We have seen how a lot of the issues that has dragged for some time.
It hasn't what?
Why is it looking like it's been difficult to manage these internal wranglings?
Well, part of it is because this convention has not taken place. So with that, a lot of people are feeling aggrieved. We have court cases, we have fallouts from activities of the party, and I think it's only right now that we harmonize all these issues. We have capable hands in the party. The chairman of the caretaker has been a 2-term national secretary. So I expect that the party should come together and see how we can forge ahead and manage all these crises internally.
So you're confident that this convention, come February, will be able to harmonize every perspective of everyone who have one grievance or the other?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because unless if there's any change, but if that's February that they said is sacrosanct, this is what people have been waiting for.
Absolutely.
Yes, because we need to get the delegates, especially the president now has returned the electoral amendment bill to the National Assembly. So it means we're at status quo. Status quo being that there won't be direct primaries. It's going to be indirect. And so long as it's indirect, you need delegates. You need to go out and reach out to them, because they are the ones that will conduct the primary elections that will lead up to the secondary election.
Although we don't know what the decision of the National Assembly will be, because they are yet to make that decision, but then perhaps you're speaking from a certain perspective that maybe you've gotten wind of certain things that will happen.
Okay.
But let me still throw that question to you, comrade. Are you confident that this convention, like he is pointing out, will resolve every issue? Because there are those who are also foreseeing and thinking that this convention might perhaps also, cause some rifts within certain aggrieved persons who feel that certain things should swing their way when the undercurrents perhaps are not moving in their favor.
Well, one thing that the convention would do is to activate all powers within the APC constitution.
Right.
Because the committee has limitations. There are some things that they cannot do.
Absolutely.
You understand? So that is why it behoves on the party to make sure that that convention takes place. Talking about rift, as long as you are in this mundane, there will always be rift. And the major thing is how to manage it and make sure that it does not break the system. That APC have been able to do Very, very well.
Really?
Yes, very, very well. Like I said, there will always be rifts. I mean, if there are no rifts, you will have the judiciary.
Absolutely.
If there are no rifts, you have the police. So there will always be rifts.
Definitely.
But the major thing is that people must stick to the provision of the constitution of the party. As long as we can stick to that, that is the only thing that can remove the rift, regardless of tendencies or interests.
Have the party been sticking to the constitution of the party over time? Because there are those who are questioning the legality of the Buni-led commission, because according to them, the constitution of the party does not give room for that.
That is why this convention must take place. Remember I told you
Absolutely.
that we need to action the order inside the constitution of the party. And if you do that, that's the only way the party can move freely without any hindrance.
Now, if you are talking about activating certain powers, what are your expectations with regards to that? And perhaps you might want to expatiate on that for better understanding of our viewers.
Well, the expectation will be control. You have full control of the party. If you don't activate it, the party will be haphazard.
What in specific terms are to be activated?
There are powers
Right.
given to the ESCOs of the party. There are powers, limited powers given to caretaker committees.
Absolutely.
Now, if the ESCO comes in, they can activate every provision embedded in the Constitution
Right.
without any limitation. And that will douse whatever grievance that you have, regardless of other mundane interests as concerns offices and what have you.
You call it mundane? Don't they really play out?
They are mundane interests. They are mundane interests as long as it does not borders on the collective interest of all members as enshrined in the Constitution. Mundane interest as it concerns to self-interest. That is what I mean. But we must look at the collective interest of the party and follow all the provisions of the party, you understand, in full-fledged, and be good sportsmen.
With the kind of politics we play in Nigeria, can we really separate mundane interest from what it is that plays out at conventions?
You can't separate it 100% because you see, there always will be crisis, but how you manage it is what matters. You know, because if you don't manage crisis, crisis will manage you.
Well,
You know, so our leadership, the leaders of the party, the caretaker committee, just like our comrade was saying, they need to do this so that it won't be like a caretaker having the control of the party, but a substantial and a confirmed body of the party that can move the party forward and forge ahead.
so what are your expectations of those that you think will be thrown up as excos from this convention? What are your expectations? What do you hope to see?
Our expectations are that we need to see that the party continues to grow because we've won the past two elections and we want to consolidate on that in the coming election. So we want to see the new ESCO as people with high pedigree, people that can rally, everybody will feel comfortable rallying around them. People that have the capacity, the wisdom to move the party to the next level. So these are my expectations on the new ESCOs, and I think if we get that, we'll get it right.
If
we will get it right, because I feel, just like I said, the caretaker committee is just because we've been prolonging this thing, but they are party members. They are. There's His Excellency the Governor Buni. He has experience at party level affairs. He's been in that secretariat since inception of APC. So he should be able to make sure we have ESCOs that will strengthen the party at the end.
Right. Excos that will strengthen the party at the end. And They will be releasing guidelines today with regards to the conventions. Hopefully, we'll see that. But then there are those again who are talking about the chairmanship seat, that it seems there are beginning to be some schemings on who would take up that position, the things that will come up to play to determine who takes up that position. Let's get your perspective or perception of how you see that playing out.
Well, it's normal. It's a competitive thing. People are meant to go around, try to convince people on the reason why they should be elected into office. But my take is that whatever they do must be sync with the provisions of the party constitution and guidelines, regardless of personal interest. But those I pray will be elected into office should be people that have the understanding of the constitution, not just that you want to be in office. Because you've had people who come to office that have never read the charter of the party and decide to rule from their own self-taught. So whoever that is coming must understand the rudiments, the fundamental of the Constitution, and must imbibe it very, very well. If you do that, it will be very difficult for you to go out of line or people going out of line. And when they come in, there must be seasonal retreats to aggregate the conduct and processes of the party, and of course have retreats where the executive and the party will meet together to look at the programs of the party. It is very important because the program that the executive implements are programs of the party. Right. So if they don't understand the programs of the party, they will be at cross borders and it becomes difficult to govern the country. Right. Because people voted on the basis of the program of the party.
Absolutely. Are there mechanisms to check all of these concerns that you have raised, especially the aspect of persons who understand the constitution of the party and the programs of the party that will be eventually implemented by the executive?
There are mechanisms to do that. Of course, we know the history of every aspirant, and we know the greenhorns that just want the office. So you must be ready to separate the wheat from the shaft, regardless of who.
I asked that because you mentioned that you have seen that there are times where persons who, were put in place were persons who do not understand the constitution of the party, who haven't even read it to understand it, and who do not understand the programs of the party. Yes. That was why I was asking if that mechanism is really in effect to check all of these things.
There are mechanisms. That's why I said you go for retreats. Even if you have people who have wandered into such office, there are room for you to quickly grasp the processes. Right. You go for retreats. You avail them with constitution of the party and ensure that they read it well. But the most important is to get the leadership, the head, very, very well. Once we get a very good leader for the party, in terms of the party chairman, he's going to drive it all the way down.
Right. Now, let's get to this aspect of yesterday's event where we saw supporters of Asiwaju, in person of Asiwaju, Bola Tinubu converge on Abuja yesterday, perhaps to harmonize activities towards the campaigns and all of this. Talk to us about yesterday's event.
Well, yesterday's event is a milestone towards the build-up of the 2023 election, because we're talking of minimum of over 250 support groups coming together under one umbrella.
250?
Yes.
That's quite a number.
Quite a number. Coming out to say, okay, we're ready to work for a candidate. And you've seen it. Everybody has seen it, that there's that passion, because His Excellency Bola Tinubu is someone that everybody sees as the person that can take us to the promised land in 2023. So he has a wide outreach that every part of the country will want to see him become the president of Nigeria.
Why was it necessary to bring everybody together?
It's for harmonization. Because I mean, if you're working in this area, you won't succeed. But coming together under an umbrella, then you have a common goal and a common front.
Right. Now that this has kick-started, talking about yesterday's event with regards to support groups for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, how do you see that perhaps driving the process of his campaigns? And like he said, it was a milestone event, and that it is key to the 2023 elections.
You see, Asiwaju's aspiration, Asiwaju as a person, can be likened to a solvent, a base solvent, that can dilute, can infuse, and also carry along whatever chemical substance that you have for your common good.
Right.
So he's very sellable, and people like him. It's a good thing that the support group moved forward to harmonize all the strengths of various little groups in order for you to have a purpose. If anybody tells you that the light in this studio could permeate, through this table, you say it's a lie. But when you concentrate the energy of the light, it cuts through metal. So that is what the support group is focused on doing. Tomorrow also, another group is going to be launched. It's called the Grassroots Network for Bola Tinubu, which I'm a co-founder.
Right.
And it's involved all local government chairmen, former of the 774 local government in Nigeria.
Right.
We also have secretaries, you have councillors, you have former secretaries, and all of that. They are all coming in strength, you understand, to also add on to what we have. And that is why I said Asiwaju is for everybody. Everybody is doing whatever they know that is good for the common good of this country, to project his aspiration in order to develop the Nigerian state for the best.
Right. And well, that would be a fine place to leave this whole conversation this morning, because we've run out of time. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking with us. Comrade Ayodele Adewale, as well as Abdullahi Danko Yakasai, who is the Northern Youth Professionals for Tinubu. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Right.